I gotta ask you about bots because to me it's like super interesting, and you've played a lot of bots at different levels. You have a video called "The Advanced Chess Bots Are Terrifying."
Yeah.
So what's the difference between playing humans and bots? Like you mentioned, this Nelson bot that brings his queen out. I think rated 1600
12 or 1400.
Oh, okay, 12,
Yeah,
14.
I think
So like there's a style to those. What's the difference between the way bots play and the way humans play?
A lot of people prefer playing bots because they have anxiety playing other humans. It's a very legitimate thing.
Interesting.
A lot of beginners, they don't like live chess. They get nervous, elo anxiety. You get close to your highest ever rating, you panic. Happens to me too.
Yeah.
Happens to me even now. So they play bots.
They're somehow more reliable or something? Or
yeah, I don't know. But it's a big thing. It's a big thing. And the popularity of that video shows that people enjoy watching you play chess bots. So I'm going to demystify this. This might be shocking. Those bots are all the same bot for the most part.
Mm-hmm.
You could just program a bot to make mistakes at a certain moment.
Mm-hmm.
You could program a bot to spend less time on certain moves. And it's gotten sophisticated enough that you can basically program it to play at whatever more or less level that a human plays at. You say, I'll play it at 1800 level. So it's programmed to throw in mistakes. The problem is, and this is why it's all beginners to not play bots, because bots are programmed in the following way. Beginner bots are like literal toddlers. They have no understanding whatsoever. They will literally lose all their pieces, but they won't lose all their pieces and make mistakes the way beginners do. Beginners actually know how to start a game. They just struggle the first 8 moves, 9 moves.
Mm-hmm.
Their mistakes are very different than bot. Bot plays completely outlandish types of mistakes that you cannot pick up in terms of a pattern standpoint because no actual humans play like that. They just move their queen to the opposite side of the board for no reason. You can take it.
Yeah. It's not even a blunder. It's almost like randomness.
Yeah, it's completely random. And this problem extends further because advanced bots will play an opening completely reasonably and then just hang a rook. Which, okay, maybe happens, but that's not exactly how you get to 1800. At 1800, that's a very strong level of the game. You know your openings very well. You start navigating the middle game based on already things that you remember. Mm-hmm. And then basically one side chooses a bad plan and the other side chooses a better plan. And one thing leads to another. Nobody just recreationally hangs all their pieces, which is the way bots are kind of programmed to play. But some of those bots in that video I remember playing them. And they were nuts. They were out calculating me every time I thought I had a trick in 2-3 second moment of thought. It would just play the best move. And sometimes that also happens. It gets into a dead loop where it just starts bulldozing you and it can't stop. So it made its mistakes already.
Yeah.
It's programmed to make only a few. And then it just bulldozes you the rest of the way.
Interesting. I mean, that's why I played with Stockfish a bunch. So I got I built for myself a bunch of different chess experiments recently. It had to do with the chess playing bot, but I also built an infinite chessboard where it was Stockfish was playing like an infinite number of chess games, and one of the parameters that was interesting to play with is how long it gets to think about a move and how that affects the rating of the thing.
Oh, I did that a little bit.
So that's a tricky one. I'm sure people know how to do that well, but it's not trivial to understand. Like there must be a good formula for it, but it's also interesting to think about like a controlled number of blunders.
Mm-hmm.
But it's probably better. The controlled number of blunders is not a good way to build a bot.
Yeah,
for training purposes at least.
The time per move is probably better. But the craziest thing is I did that. A couple of my devs who are helping me with the build like I'm scaling my courses into a better chess learning platform, mm-hmm. essentially. We've done a lot of different experiments with Stockfish, which I'm even happy to get into here. Stockfish making moves in 0.1 millisecond plays better than a human, which is disgusting and disturbing, frankly, because that's crazy. Like you can't react to a car stopping in front of you anywhere near that fast. And
yeah, so the reason I was interested in that is because when you have a very large chessboard, you have tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of game going on at the same time. You have to think of the minimum amount of thinking per move that you can allow for, and it does seem it's damn good, at least to my eye, basically at the lowest possible setting you can give it. So yeah, it's incredible. It's incredible what bots are able to do. And now it's, as far as I know, is primarily machine learning based. Stockfish. So Stockfish moved to machine learning completely. It's not doing search, as far as I know.
Yeah, this is where you lose me a bit, but the move discovery and evaluation is what's been changing in the way Stockfish works. So it's discovering of moves, and then the way it looks forward and then evaluates positions, that has changed. But Matthew Sadler, who wrote the book Game Changer about AlphaZero, yeah, that he explains it significantly better. But that's the way I think it works.
What did that make you feel when you first saw AlphaZero play?
I was excited. I didn't have any sort of existential thoughts. I enjoyed watching it completely destroy openings that people thought were good, and it that experiment though does have some caveat in the sense that I think AlphaZero was playing with a full tank of servers, and I think Stockfish wasn't, which I think is one of the things people point out. They weren't playing.
But since then, they were able to demonstrate much less.
Yeah,
but also AlphaZero stopped developing. They stopped developing it.
Yes,
which sucks. But again, from their perspective, from DeepMind's perspective, it's like, all right, well, we took on this really tricky game, did something honestly incredible.
They won. They won. I mean,
well, not just one. I mean, they did it without any human supervision. So, like, without any training on human expert games.
Mm-hmm.
So only through self-play, which, I mean, that's what learning is about. It's like, it's what you think of as a child, a human child, a toddler, learning from, somewhat nothing and becoming a capable human. That's what we think of when we think about intelligence. So the fact that it's able to play itself and become the best player in the world at the game of Go and all kinds of games is just incredible. And obviously that inspired the modern Stockfish.
Yeah.
To do all the same kind of self-play methods.